All right, I want you to forget everything you think you know about business. Seriously, just toss it out the window. Because today, we're diving into Rework, a philosophy that's all about a simpler, faster, and way more effective way to get things done. You see, the old rules? They're totally broken. Forget about those miserable 100-hour work weeks, the fancy office you don't need, or having to raise boatloads of cash just to get an idea off the ground. There's a new reality, and it's time we all start to rethink what work even means. Now, you're going to hear a lot about they. They say you need a 5-year plan. They say you can't possibly compete with the big guys. They say there's no way you can succeed by doing less. Well, as we're about to find out, they are almost always wrong. So let's start by just gutting that old way of thinking. And hey, this isn't just for people who call themselves entrepreneurs. Nope. This is for anyone who wants to create something. Anybody with an idea, a little bit of drive. Let's just call them starters. Okay, so before we can build up a better way, we gotta demolish the stuff that's holding everybody back. Let's take down 4 of the biggest, most common myths you hear in the business world, one by one. First on the chopping block, this obsession with long-term business plans. The book puts it pretty bluntly. Unless you're some kind of fortune teller trying to map out the next 5 years of your life, it's pure fantasy. The market changes, new people show up, your own ideas shift. There are just way too many things you have zero control over. And that really gets to the core of it, right? Planning is just guessing. And when you treat those guesses like they're set in stone, you lose your ability to adapt, to improvise, to jump on some amazing opportunity that pops up out of nowhere. The Rework way is to make decisions right before you act, not months in advance. It's all about being nimble, not trying to see the future. Okay, next up is a really big one, especially in the tech world, this whole cult of fail early, fail often. Rework's message here is simple. Please do not drink that Kool-Aid. What someone else learned from their failure probably has nothing to do with you. And you know what? There's actually data on this. One study found that founders who succeed once are way more likely to succeed again. But the ones who failed their first time, well, their chances were basically the same as someone who'd never even tried. Success is what gives you a roadmap. That's the experience that really matters. Oh man, we've all seen this one. This cultural celebration of just complete burnout. Pulling all-nighters, sleeping at the office. It's treated like some kind of badge of honor. But Rework calls this out for what it is. Totally unnecessary and, well, kind of stupid. Think about it. Workaholics don't really solve problems with smart solutions. They just throw more hours at them, like brute force. And that just leads to burnout, bad decisions, and a miserable culture for everyone else. They aren't heroes, they're just using up the day. And finally, we have the ultimate dream killer, the real world. You've heard the line, right? Oh, that's a nice idea, but it would never work in the real world. It's the go-to line for people who are just filled with pessimism. This is really a call to action. I mean, that pessimistic world might be real for them, but it doesn't have to be your reality. Your job is to just tune out the naysayers and go build the world that you actually want to live in. All right, so we've torn down the old myths. So what do we build in their place? Let's switch gears and talk about the constructive side of Rework. How do you actually get started and build something that really matters? The whole thing starts with this just beautiful, simple idea. Scratch your own itch. Seriously, the easiest, most direct way to make a great product is to make something that you desperately want to use. You're not guessing what other people might need, you're solving your own problem. So, this breaks down into 3 basic steps. First, like we said, scratch your own itch. Second, find the absolute core of your idea, the epicenter, the one thing it cannot live without, and just pour all your energy into that. And third, cut your ambition in half. A simple, awesome product is so much better than a complicated, mediocre one. This is such a great way to think about it. Great movies, great albums, great books, they're all the result of aggressive editing. You've got to be willing to cut some of your good ideas to make room for the stuff that's truly great. So, you've started building. Great. Now, how do you actually get things done without falling into that workaholic trap? Well, Rework has a pretty radical take on productivity that's all about deep, focused work instead of just constant busyness. So here's the difference. The typical workday is basically built on interruptions. Meetings, phone calls, people tapping you on the shoulder. Rework is all about the alone zone. long, uninterrupted stretches where you can do real, meaningful work. And it swaps those endless, demoralizing to-do lists for the power you get from quick, small wins. And let's just talk for a second about the worst interruption of them all, meetings. Just think about this math. A 1-hour meeting with 10 people in it isn't a 1-hour meeting. It's a 10-hour loss of productivity for the whole company. When you start to calculate their true cost, it's just staggering. Most of them are a complete waste of time. You see, the alternative to those huge, soul-crushing projects is just a series of quick wins. Getting small things done, checking them off the list, and getting them out the door builds momentum. And that momentum, that is the fuel that keeps you motivated and excited about what you're doing. Okay, we've covered a lot here, tearing down the old rules, building a new way, working smarter. But all of this is completely useless without one final thing. And honestly, this is a direct challenge to you. The perfect time is never gonna come. You'll always be too busy or too young or too old or too something. The only time you actually have is right now. Don't let all those excuses get in the way of just starting. And remember this. Inspiration is perishable. That amazing idea you have right now, it has an expiration date. Don't let it sit on the shelf and go to waste. Act on it. That right there is the heart and soul of Rework.